because this is definitely a good initiative which can enlighten several people around us. So thank you very much. Um, Today's agenda is about data and analytics. Because we all know that everywhere we are going, it is the data and the analytics that is making difference in the business. And if you look at how many billions have been invested into this market, it's huge, which means there are a lot of opportunities, which means that the data and analytics world is going to rule. This particular domain is going to rule the world for the next 5 years at least. This is what is the predictions. And again, the predictions are coming from Gartner. It's not from anybody else, and Gartner is well known for their research and the predictions. However, there is always a possibility that the predictions might also go wrong. But most of the times the predictions were right in the past. That's the reason I have taken the reference of Gartner here, because if I would have just put down some of the things, I had to take some reference, and that's the reference that I have taken. And what exactly we would be looking at today is from the D&A market. I will refer D&A, which is data and analytics. So in short, what are the programs and practices that would actually gain the traction, that would actually bring more momentum to the enterprises, and then the analytics, BI and data science solution. Because I know several people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people are investing their time and effort into data science, into BI solutions. So where exactly that will go, and then the data management solutions. Again, this is another domain. So if you look at the entire predictions, it is divided into about 6 to 7, and in some cases about 8 different categories. So these are the categories that we are going to look at. And then also the artificial intelligence. I think artificial intelligence at this point in time doesn't have any ethical constraints. So probably in future that would also bring in. And then cloud and infrastructure, because data and analytics, if somebody is building a practice or a program, they need to have cloud and infrastructure for that. And then obviously cybersecurity and IT risk is something that has been part of discussion for several years, but it is becoming more and more evident that if you don't have those things in place, then the future might not be secure. And then technology innovation, what kind of innovations that would come in future is something that we will look at it. And then last but not the least is the D&A roles. What are those roles that are going to gain more traction or attraction, or those will become crucial within the organization, so that we all can prepare, because we have got a little bit of time, and let us prepare for that. And then the Q&A. Now, so this is just a slide, for everybody to understand that, how the data has been growing in the market. So it has transformed from industry 1.0, then to 2.0, then to 3.0 and 4.0. And now industry 4.0 cannot sustain without the data. And that's the big thing. Industry 3.0 could sustain without the data. Previous industries could survive or actually thrive without even the data, but industry 4.0, so one of the foundations is the data. And if you don't have the right data, if you do not have the clean and harmonized data, then it's not going to sustain that particular industry. So now from there, now, how does these predictions, how does Gartner make these predictions? So they go through a lot of strategic planning assumptions. They conduct a lot of research, and that research has been, continuous collection of feedback or inputs from all the industry leaders. Most of the times, even people like us as well, who are representing an organization, who are Gartner's customers, or who are giving valuable advice, we are also being contacted on the strategic planning assumptions. So when we talk about SPA, so whatever we are planning for the next year or year after that, or until 2026, is what they take it, and they just don't take it from one industry, they take it across all the industries. The sample size is always higher, and from there they predict that this is where the strategic planning is going. And for this strategic planning to sustain, for this strategic planning assumptions to execute in the market, what exactly is required. And based on the budgets allocated, based on the initiatives are based on the business outcome every organization wanted to have. So from the past research, they take it and then they combine all of that. There are a lot of tools and programs that they apply on it, and then they bring out the future prediction. Just for the interest sake, I'm explaining this. Why their predictions might not go wrong. In majority of the cases, the reason is they are taking it directly from the business leaders, IT leaders, and every domain leaders. They take that feedback. Now, the first prediction, if you look at it on the programs and the practices, and the programs and practices is something that that has been implemented in the organization several times. However, if you look at now some of the outcomes, some of the conclusions out of these predictions is that by 2025, 70% of public companies that outperform competitors on key financial metrics will also report being data and analytics centric. So this is a huge statement, which means that earlier the public companies were not actually focusing more on the D&A, analytics or D&A initiatives or programs or practices, because they were always afraid of doing the transformation. I'll give you a couple of examples of that. We were working with large public sector company, and just to change, some basic data, it took years for them, because they said that, sorry, there is a legacy. We do not want to transform. We understand that it's a wrong data, but we cannot change it because everybody is acquainted with it. We need to go to the compliances. We need to go to the government. A lot of things. uh, you know so it was hard for them to bring in a practice of DNA. It was hard for them to run a program based on DNA. But even the public companies, that's what it says, that 70% of them would be reporting everything from the data and analytics centric perspective. That's absolutely a wonderful thing, because it is opening up also the doors for the data and analytics professionals in the public sector, not just in the private sectors. So that's something. And then by 2025, 95% of decisions that currently use data will be at least partially automated. Now, automation is something that is coming in since long time, be it robotic process automation, be it automation, by using some triggers, automation from the perspective of data transformation, data harmonization, data loading, or data publishing. All these automations is something that was always there. However, if you really look at the automation that is required now is the decision automation. Decision automation is something like, if I give you a simple example, that if a purchase order need to be raised, and system must do everything, and only it must prompt to the user saying that, okay, I have analyzed the data, I have seen that these spares are going to be replenished, and we would like to quickly fill the stock, and that's why I have created I have actually contacted all the vendors, and I found that this is the best price and best quality, and I'm going to go ahead with the uh, placing a purchase order. And that is how the decisive automation is something that is going to change the world. And for this, what do we require? We require business acumen. We require, what kind of business value that we can bring in. And if we do not have that, we will not be able to build a RPA, robotic process automation. So again, everybody on this earth will be able to contribute to D&A market, because from their business value perspective, from their programming skills perspective, from the consulting perspective, from the technology perspective, from any domain perspective. So I'm just giving some examples of it, how we all can be part of this market, because this market is bound to grow. And again, I'm not saying that whatever you are doing is not good, but even in your industry, whichever industry that you represent, D&A is going to come and take away a lot of stuff away from the normal practices. So that's why we need to be ready with that. And then digital ambitions, are actually connected with 20% of high performing organizations will use connected governance, which means that anything any data that is moving around, any data that is going out, any data that is coming in, any data that is getting archived, all their processes will be connected with the governance. It's not like in the past that somebody can just delete the data, somebody can just add the data, somebody can just change or modify the data. It has to go through a governance solution. That's what these programs are going to bring in practices. And then the connected governance is one, and then the data sharing is another one. See, most of the times why people were not able to make decision in the past, and especially I'm talking about business leaders, for that they were not exposed to the decision making data. They were not exposed or shared the data that is crucial for them to conduct the business. So data sharing is going to become more and more importance or crucial within the organization, which will democratize the entire data and analytics market. Because if any CDO is hiding the information from the business leader based on whatever the analytics that they have done, if he is not sharing, the business leader, the C levels, CEOs, COOs, or CTOs, CIOs, they won't be able to make a decision. So data sharing is important, and the data sharing must be across the entire organization. So that's the summary of this data analytics programs and practices. And those consultants, those business consultants who are already pursuing their careers in data and analytics, they need to know that everything that they are designing, it need to be connected governance, and it need to have buy-in from everybody. The data need to be shared. That is how the systems need to be designed, and decision automation is something that needs to bring in. And every activity, every initiative that you take, if it is not tying up with the business value, with the data foundation, it's not going to work. So these are the bullets out of this particular slide. And moving on, this is another evolving one: analytics, BI, and data science. BI has been there in the market for decades or more than decades. However, the whole dynamics of how the BI is viewed, how the BI is perceived these days, is powered by the data science solutions. Data science solutions are those solutions wherein you identify the patterns. If you are writing a program for ML, you identify the patterns. Based on those patterns, you build a solution, you build the triggers, so that the BI can actually present or represent or articulate the decision making. So this market is also growing. It has been growing for the last 5 years, and we all assume and predict that it is going to grow for the next 5 years as well. And this is the right time for, even somebody would like to restart their career, if somebody would like to even enter this market, this is the right time, because it's going to mature in the next few years, and that's the time. And it's easy. It's also not very difficult, because there are several courses that are available online. There are several tools, there are several literature that is available. There is several collaterals that are available on the internet that we can learn, and it's not something that is difficult. Even somebody who is having 10 plus years of experience in maybe a pharma industry, maybe a manufacturing industry, they can also learn, and they can also become a data scientist, because they bring in that business value, they bring in the technical knowledge to it. So again, if you look at it, the AI, analytics, BI, data science, and all of that, if any story that you are building, if it does not bring in business value, that does not enforce the decision making, then it's not going to help. So it has to bring in business value. It's not nice to have stuff, it is definitely the business value stuff. Like another example where we have implemented RPA in one of the industries is that the entire procurement department was about 30 plus people who were trying to create a purchase order for the organization worth of hundreds of $1,000s to millions. So what we have done is, anything which was under $10,000, automatically system will create the purchase orders, which means that we have reduced the time and effort, and those 35 people have now been reduced to 15, and the time it takes to create a PO, place a purchase order, it's just a matter of couple of hours, rather than it used to take days, because you have to go and search for the sources, compare the prices and all of this. So if it is not bringing a business value, then and decision making altogether, then those kind of solutions are not going to help. And then other very good prediction here is that 60% of organizations will have adapted a distributed delivery model, resulting in 5 times lower. So see, earlier there was an era of centralization. Everything was centralization. Be it consolidation was centralization, be it distribution was centralization, everything was centralization. Be it, the data publishing was also centralization. But now it's a distributed delivery model. So uh, what exactly is the impact of it? 60% of organizations will have adapted a distributed delivery model, resulting in 5 times lower D&A operation cost than those that do not. So that's also a big statement, that is been making. And then other thing is, if we are building a data and analytics tool, if we are proposing a data and analytics tool in the industry, in that case, what are the things that somebody need to look at is the ease of migration, and then interoperability and coherence will be the deciding factors, okay, for any machine learning, any data science, any AI platform. So people who are influencers, people who are making decisions on behalf of the organization, they need to look at these three factors. One is the ease of migration to that particular platform or the tool, ease of interoperability, and ease of coherence is something, those will be the deciding factors for buying any AI or machine learning platform. And then moving on, data management solutions. Again, data management solutions in the past, if you look at it, how do you acquire the data? How do you ingest the data? People used to say that I will use probably, a tool, I will do it on my own, and then maybe, I load the data. But now that is changing. Even data management solutions need to be governed. They need to bring a lot of governance into it. Now, there are a lot of words, dear friends, in the market, be it data fabric, data mesh, data hub, data lake. We don't have to be really, concerned or worried about it, because each one has got a specific meaning to it. We can go and Google what exactly is the meaning. But why these words are coming? Because every year, D&A market need to come up with some buzzwords. If they are not coming up with some buzzwords, then people think that this market is not evolving, this market is not moving. That's why a new use case is built, and based on that a new term comes in, be it in the form of data fabric, be it in the form of data mesh, be it in the form of data hub or data lake, or data repositories. These are the data warehouse has been there. So all these kind of things are nothing but consolidation of the data with various tools and methodologies that has got pros and cons. We'll just spend a little bit of more time on the data management solutions. Earlier, the data management solutions were done, and this is also a domain for a lot of people who want to enter into analyzing the data, in doing the ingestion of it, bringing out some stats and facts about the data set, and then repeating it again with additional data, or appending or amending the data. So this domain also is going to be needing a lot of AI and ML capabilities. Even Pylog being also in the market, we also had to transform from our semi-manual processes to semi-automatic processes with the help of AI and ML. If we wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't have existed in the market today. So any data loading that need to be automated, that need to learn on its own using the ML methodologies or ML algorithms or ML models, and it needs to bring in AI capabilities. That's where the augmented data management practices are gaining a lot of traction. So if somebody has got a career path, if they are thinking that they would like to spend their time next few years leading the data management solutions, they need to also understand the AI and ML related to the entire data management, how you can manage the data using the automation, how you can manage the data using the data science solutions. That's what is going to, people will have to look at the stuff. Again, now if you look at, there are three different systems that is shown in this slide. One is the data ecosystem, which is complete, different tools, different methodologies, different, parts of the data ecosystem. The other one is distributed data ecosystem, which means that it's not centralized, it's not in one place, it is actually elsewhere. And then the last one is the distributed intercloud. And intercloud is going to gain a lot more traction than anything else, such as if people are building a solution that is not intercloud or intra-cloud capable, then those solutions are not going to sustain in the market. So anything related to building a data management solution that need to cater for data ecosystem, distributed data ecosystem, and distributed inter-cloud are hybrid ecosystems. If it does not, then uh, it's not going to gain that kind of traction. Now that's the reason AWS is there. That's the reason Google Cloud Platform GCP is there. That's the reason Azure is there. That's the reason OCI is there. And all these are nothing but the cloud platforms that are not just hosting a single application, or that's not just serving one use case, but they are serving several use cases. So what exactly is the conclusion from here for the professionals is that you become AWS champion, or you become Azure champion, or you become GCP champion based on what exactly those tools and methodologies that are available are. You become OCI champion, and this is the time for us to invest in ourselves, go and refresh our skills, and then redefine ourselves, and that's what we have to do. Because anyway, these data management solutions, data science solutions, everything are going towards cloud, because to support within the organization, to support within their infrastructure, private infrastructure, it's not going to be possible because of the various use cases that would be deployed. So that's the conclusion. And then the AI. Everybody has been talking about AI for ages, for decades, but AI is coming into action only from the past few years, and that too especially in only specific industries. However, I still feel that AI is not there, not going to take away a lot of stuff. AI is going to take away only the stuff that is repetitive. So if anybody, any one of us or any of our friends or colleagues, they are doing a repetitive job, and they need to make sure that they learn something, they upskill, they cross skill themselves, and then try to leave out of that repetitive job, because any repetitive job that can be programmed would always be replaced by AI in the near future. So I'm not going to talk more on that, because there are a lot of predictions on artificial intelligence from the last decade or so, but only few of them realized, just because the artificial intelligence or machine learning can only work when you have the data. Such as, I will give you an example why these could not be matured more. Now, let's suppose if we have the banking transaction data, which is completely the transaction data, in and out, who is withdrawing how much, where they are investing, whatever it is. If you have that data, you can build ML, models on that. But if let's take now the agriculture data, what each farmer is buying, and what kind of land the farmer has, and where he is investing, and where is he selling, what kind of crop he is growing, all of that. Do we have the data? We don't have the data. So until and unless we have the data, we will not be able to bring in AI or ML into it. So today, the biggest barrier, or one of the highest factor that is stopping all of us to go AI or ML way, is because we do not have the data. And if you don't have the data, you won't be able to build it. So first we need to start capturing the data. There are several governments in the world who are trying to do that and who are trying to actually build the models because they have the data. I'm talking about the agriculture data. But if you ask anybody where is this AI models or ML models successfully implemented, you will see that only in fraud detection, that too in the financial market. So apart from that, there's nothing. But now people are bringing the same thing into the procurement as well, and also into the supply chain as well. So it's going to grow, but again, in the next few years, probably lack of data will hold us back from implementing a lot of developing a lot of AI and ML models. And then cloud and infrastructure. I know that many people whoever were just very siloed network engineer or siloed database administrator or siloed application administrator, they will have to learn now this whole cloud and infrastructure. Whatever the infrastructure that is around cloud is going to definitely gain momentum. And in the last 5 years, we have witnessed from 2015 to 2020, we have witnessed, and 2021 and 22, actually it was more migration to the cloud than ever. The reason was also the COVID, because if it was on cloud, any app or any system was developed on cloud, easily you could have accessed it from anywhere. And COVID has taught us several things that don't keep your stuff just in private. Try to make it available in a place from where anybody can access it without any restriction. So cloud and infrastructure is definitely going to gain a lot more. You can see there as well. So even though the curve was here, it was going upward, but just between the 2 years, it went with a faster pace there, and the inclination is also high there. So anybody who is a database administrator, application administrator, data engineer, or a process designer, or a data architect, they need to go and learn the cloud and infrastructure. And this is the time for all of us to look at it. Even if we are maybe a data scientist, who is not going to design an architecture, who is not going to even do the process mapping, but understanding the cloud infrastructure is going to be important. Otherwise we'll not be able to do our job. So this is also a prediction that I think in the past as well, Gartner has predicted that cloud and its infrastructure and cybersecurity is going to gain a lot of traction, and it is. And if you look at it, earlier it was infrastructure as a server, which was just a hosting, then as a service, platform as a service, then analytics and AI, then distributed anywhere, industry clouds, sovereign, composable, sustainable, generative. Next, this is going to go very, very fast in the next 7 to 8 years. And that's why we will have to understand how the clouds work, be it AWS, be it Azure, whatever it is. Don't try to invest only into a into a private network or private infrastructure, wherein we will not be exposed to the other stuff. The beauty of the cloud infrastructure is that be it you are on platform as a service, or be it you are on infrastructure as a service, if within that environment any other services are offered, if any other platforms are offered by the vendor, and if any other methodologies are offered, any other tools are offered, you can easily use them, rather than if it would have been a private data center, you have to buy it, you have to install it. So it's readily available, and that's the beauty of it, and that's why everybody is moving. And I know that even SMEs are moving to cloud more than anybody else. And some of the large enterprises that were very much afraid of the security of the cloud infrastructure, they are also moving to cloud. So it's going to take traction, and most of the ERP vendors are also now offering solutions on cloud, be it SAP, be it Oracle, be it MSD. Everybody is offering. And again, one more example I would like to give is that most of us are using Office 365 or MS 365, the new name of that. If it would not have been a cloud, several, probably more than 50% of organizations wouldn't have afforded it. The price of cloud is flexible. The price of cloud is actually not too expensive, So that's why everybody is using it. And I must really congratulate Microsoft for revolutionizing Office products, because if they would have stick to only on-prem install within the network, they wouldn't have gained that market. And that's the reason now they are investing heavily into another two data centers in Hyderabad. And AWS is going to invest 36,000 crores in Hyderabad. I mean, I'm just mentioning Hyderabad, but again, within India, they are going to invest huge. And why? Because they understand that this cloud and its infrastructure services are going to grow. And if we, being the Indians, or being the local people, if we cannot get a job at AWS or Azure or any of the cloud providers directly working with multiple production systems, then we are the losers, not them. Then cybersecurity and IT risk. This has always been, one of the topics, hot topics, and I'm also aware of several professionals who used to talk about it, preach about it 10 years ago, and nobody has actually given any importance to their talk. But now it's becoming more and more evident, because now there are two types of different, threats that we are sitting with. One is internally, one is internal within the users, how we are exposing the data, how we are transmitting the data, how we are exchanging the data, and what kind of vulnerabilities that are there in the software or in the platform. That's the internal. And then the external, because of the cloud infrastructure. Everybody is going to cloud. It's a public cloud. It is not a private cloud that you can enforce any of your rules. So you need to also understand and learn whatever the cyber security tools are available, whatever the cyber security methodologies and practices are available, that we need to learn. Earlier, whatever we have learned, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, was local to a private data center. So now the learning or the upskilling needs to take place for both internal risk as well as the external risk. And a lot of organizations are implementing biometrics already. But again, there are flaws also in biometric as well. We know that, and most of the times those flaws are easily discovered by the people who are little bit smarter than those algorithms. So cybersecurity and IT risk is again going to gain a lot of traction in the next few years, and people are going to invest heavily so that uh, they do not suffer anything. And we know that even in the last 1 year or so, large, very, very large organizations have suffered through it just because they were not prepared. And and most of the time, the cybersecurity and IT risk surveillances are something that are gaining more traction in the market. If I talk about Middle East, especially, there are a lot of surveillance systems that are in place. So it's not just implement the security and leave it, the surveillance as well, which means that somebody need to even understand those tools and also build some of the algorithms, build some of the models and the machine learning, so that it can send out some triggers. It can send out based on the sensors or the triggers, it can send out some decisional analytics to the right stakeholders. So that's also a space that is growing in terms of cybersecurity and IT risk. And then the technology innovation. Technology innovation is another one, such as if you look at the supply chain management, I think smart tags are going to come, hit the market, and these smart tags are going to, lead the market. Already, the smart tags are implemented as within the warehouses of Amazon or Flipkart or Walmart. Several of their warehouses are already robotic. However, it's also going to be implemented elsewhere as well. Probably within the transportation as well, smart tags are going to be implemented. Even when we are flying out as well, our baggage tag would also be a smart tag in near future. Some of the airports have already implemented that. Some of the airlines have already implemented that. But again, that is going to come up. So anybody who can do the smart tags programming, anybody who can administer the tracking of the tax and all of that. That's also something that somebody can, look at as a career option if they are interested into that. So, there are a lot of other things. And again, metaverse is also going to gain a lot of traction. I have seen that also in Dubai, not just in the US, but in Dubai as well, that people are investing into metaverse, and metaverse is also going to change the way how we have experienced, our services around us in the past. So anybody who would like to invest into it, again, this is the right time. If somebody is ambitious about always learning about the technology innovation, these are the things that are going to really, change the world. And in fact, if you look at post COVID, EdTech has gained a lot of traction because education with the help of the technology is something that has kept this world learning. Otherwise, not going to the colleges, not attending the universities, not attending any courses physically would have, kept away from learning. But again, EdTech has brought in that. So that was also a technology evolution or innovation in the past. So there are a lot of things that are coming in, and especially from the health perspective, the boats are coming in wherein if you have, mild symptoms of something, you can just feed that information, and those tools or those apps can diagnose. And there are some smartwatches that detect some of these things, not accurately, but again, we are going towards that. So see, there are a lot of technology innovations that are happening, and it is multitude. Every year you see, if you attend the GITEX, if you attend some of the technology events, if you attend the LEAP event, you would see that a lot of technology is evolving. And especially in GITEX, whoever have attended it or whoever have learned from the experience, that the technology is really going to change the way that we are looking at the stuff. So we need to be better prepared for it, even if it is not to contribute to something, but even to adapt. I mean, today, if you look at it, the change is something that people do not want to adapt quickly. But if you adapt the technology quickly and then learn the pros and cons of it, we will be the champions. We will be the experts of that. And then going by the other predictions, there are several other predictions, DA industry specific predictions. So this is the slide. I'm not going to go through all of it, but again, all the predictions that I mentioned in the previous slides, those were generic. Those were not specific to any industry, though there were some pointers towards one or two industries. But these predictions, be it predictions for 2023, 24, 25, all these are available on Gartner. And be it related to supply chain technology, be it related to service and support, be it related to manufacturing, IT, and all of these things. Again, be it from the executive leadership perspective as well, how this is going to change, what exactly is going to come up. So there are a lot of predictions there. My objective or our objective of this session was that, whatever is predicted by some research reports, let us bring it in front of our people so that they can benefit. So if you have any questions, you can ask me, but there's one more last slide. After this, we'll open for the Q&A. Now, what are the roles that are going to evolve? Again, evolving roles or emerging roles is one. Existing D&A roles are some of the things. What are the business roles and what are the must-have roles? Now, if you look at it in any organization, and this is cutting across different industries. Earlier, having IT skills was enough, or having soft skills was enough, or having business acumen or expertise was enough, or having data and analytics or logical skills were enough. But now it's not like that. You need to have, all of this, combination of this. If let us suppose we are becoming a data analyst, we need to have the business knowledge, we need to have the analytical skills, we need to have the IT skills, we need to have the soft skills to write the story. Earlier, data analyst means, okay, no problem, give me the data, I will give you the output. It's not going to work in near future. So blend of the different skill set is the need of future. And if we want to be champion, we need to acquire those skills. And even if we are learning slowly, no problem, but we need to learn those skills, because just having IT skills, no, I'm definitely not going to interact with anybody, but you need to, as a data analyst, you need to prepare a report. You need to prepare a business case. And for that, you need soft skills. If you do not have the soft skills, then you won't be able to prepare it. You won't be able to grow in the career. One won't be able to do that. So even the data modeler, a guy who is a data modeling guy, who need to sit with the business, who need to sit with the IT, conduct the workshops and design the model. And if he doesn't have the soft skills or IT skills or understanding of the business, he won't be able to design a data modeler. It's definitely not a back end job or back office job. So it is going to be a game changer, because every organization now, they are looking for multifaceted skill set of a resource. If we do not have actually the multifaceted skill set, organizations are not giving any importance to those guys. So let us just look at what are the D&A roles. Data modeler, which is there are two types of data modelers. Data modeling from the database side is one. The other one is data modelers for the algorithm side is another one. And then AI engineer, which is the artificial intelligence engineer. You need to understand the IT side of it, technology side of it, again business expertise. And then analytics engineer is again another one. Then D&A architect, data analytics stewards. There are several stewards these days, several of them. So whoever are the data and analytics stewards or governance, data governance stewards, they need to up their skills and move to the next level of it. And then data analyst, this is a common title or role that we see in organization. Data scientist also we see it. AI ML developer, we see that. Change and transformation manager. Again, change and transformation managers are crucial. There are several programs that have failed just because of not having the right skills for the transformation manager. MDM manager, I think several organizations have it wherever there is master data. And then D&A manager, D&A tester. These are the already existing D&A roles. Now, what are the business roles? Business roles are citizen data engineer. This is gaining a lot of traction now. If you look at in the US and Europe, citizen data engineers, citizen data steward, citizen data scientist, which is a business role, and the SME, subject matter experts, is another one. And then we have a combination of CDAO, Chief Data and Analytics Officer. Earlier, it used to be CDO, now the Chief Data and Analytics Officer. And then CSOs, Chief Security Officers, are also something that is also gaining a lot of popularity. So those are the business roles. And then if we look into what are the must-have roles, data engineers, data translators, ABI developers, and then CDOs, and then the data ethicist. Again, data ethicist, why data ethicist is coming? Because whenever any data practices are implemented in any organization, those need to be implemented ethically, which means that we cannot take the data that is available in public, or cannot take the data unless it is published for free use. And then authenticity of it and ethicality of it is going to be really important in near future. Otherwise, people will try to take the same data and bring out different results. So that's also another thing. And then what are the emerging roles? Data broker, because if you have a lot of uh, data across different industries which is hosted, and if you want to enter into buying and selling of the data, so that's the data broker. And then ML validator, then knowledge engineer, data product manager. Earlier, data was never ever treated as a product or an asset in the past, but in the last few years we have seen that data is an asset, data is treated as a product. So that's the data product manager, which means that for the vendor data set, somebody is the product manager. For the material data set, somebody is the product manager for that. So data product managers roles are also emerging, and model manager, and then data coach. So data coaches are gaining already the traction. The people who have knowledge of data and analytics D&A field, they can become the data coach, and then decision engineer, and then cross ops coach, which means that cross operational coach, which could be the FinOps to the other operations model. So this is what actually is predicted out of Gartner research. These predictions are coming out of that, and you can see this world is growing. I don't think that there is any other domain that is gaining a lot of traction, because I'll give you just one example. Any of the recent events that you see, international, national events, if you look at it, you will not find even a single event where data and analytics track is not there. And there are several specific events that are run by Gartner, Forrester, and others research companies specifically on data and analytics, not even on technology, not even on that. So data and analytics is here to stay at least for another 5 years. Post that, I believe that new technologies will emerge, but it is there to stay. So this is the time for all of us to rethink about it, calibrate ourselves, see where our interests are, what should be the career path for all of us, what should be the growth path for all of us, and let us start investing into it. Because if we don't upskill, somebody else is upskilling while we are even thinking about it, and they will take away. So I'm open for questions now. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So just I want to know, like, do you have some kind of crash course or some kind of, professional course available in some kind of training institute, like in Delhi, Bangalore, somewhere? How do you enter in a data science market? Like, for example, I'm a system administrator and I have a knowledge of virtualization and system servers and all those things. So if I want to go into D&A field, so how do I proceed for that?
See, the good thing is that EdTech has changed the way that we can learn and upskill. And there are several courses that are available. Coursera is one, that I have also used in the past. Udemy is another one. An Academy is another one. All of them are actually offering these courses. And all these courses, at our will, at our leisure, we can learn. So what I suggested to my teams in the past was that make sure that you keep 1 hour a week aside for learning these courses. And there are a lot of organizations that are even sponsoring these courses. So that's the easiest way to learn.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, this is Nayaz. I have a question. I have been working with data for about 15 years, right from data warehouse modeling and architecture and business intelligence. So I'm looking if there's any group, a closed group which is focusing with respect to data warehouse or Synapse Analytics or Redshift. The reason I'm asking is I work with a government organization wherein mostly we work on-prem, and I'm not exposed with cloud. Especially, government organizations don't want to go on cloud. So what I'm asking is there any closed group wherein we can leverage, wherein I can learn and I can also contribute to data warehousing projects, maybe off cloud or on cloud?
Sure. I think maybe you can drop in this message in the group if you are part of it, or reach out to Dr. Saif Saab. And I'm sure people are looking for that. But again, just one tip is that even though today data warehousing concept and practices exist, but if you come out of data warehousing, it's actually the data hubs, data lakes, and data meshes, and those programs and those practices are much in demand. So my maybe 2 cents would be that if you can maybe try learning those things, anyway, any government organization, they will take maybe couple of years or maybe 5 years to take a jump to the new technology. That would be helpful, but I'm sure you can add value if you leave your profile with Dr. Saab.
Sure. Actually, I am working, like I'm learning to the Synapse Analytics and Redshift and other stuff. But the problem is the real data has a lot of issues. The MDM or whenever you go to, like I recently got my DAMA certification and other things, but everything is theoretical. So as long as you are in the practical project, you learn, and also I want to leverage my whatever information or skills with others as well. That's the reason. I'll surely contact Mr. Saif.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, I have a question, like how do we do a self-assessment whether I'm fit for this data science and D&A market? Just like some programmers, they have a creative skills, they have a programmatic skills, so they think, yeah, I can be a very good web developer, I can be good, very programmer. So what kind of skills or what kind of nature we should have to enter this kind of market? This is the question for who are newcomers to this market.
One simple stuff is that if let's suppose whatever your passion is, let us suppose somebody's passion is only administrating the systems, or if somebody's passion is programming, if somebody's passion is only analyzing the data, if somebody's passion is to think logically. So based on that, I'm sure that 99% of roles that are currently there, that we can definitely tie it up with our existing skills. It's only the upskilling that is required for us, because we need to think from the perspective of D&A. We need to learn the tools and the methodologies what D&A is practicing. I'll give one simple example. There used to be a guy who was just a finance guy. He was doing bookkeeping, very good bookkeeping. He was doing the journal entries and all of that. And what we have advised that person was that, why don't you come into, no, I'm a finance guy, what exactly I would have it. Then we asked him that, when you are doing the entries within the finance system, how many mistakes that are made? Do you have the idea of that? Do you have the business acumen of that? He had that. And then we asked him, okay, why don't you learn these courses that will analyze, that would help you analyze the data, that would help you build some use cases. Now today he became a business consultant, but his expertise on finance side, but he's a business consultant rather than just a financial accountant. He has become, just because he had zeal to learn more from the data practices perspective, data tools perspective. He went on there. He hasn't changed any of his core skills, such as the finance and accounting standards and all of that. He kept all of it, but he just learned it. So in the same way, every role has got a D&A opportunity, and everybody can bring in D&A flavor to their existing roles in the near future.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Naziruddin, and first of all, I would like to appreciate, it was a wonderful session. I got a lot of things from this. So my question is, since I am from a QA background, you have the details of all the future upcoming roles, technology, how I can explore the same in other fields as well, like in QA or in cloud, or maybe in case of any other stream we are working in. So how we can explore these things in other areas?
See, if we need to track the research, first of all, whatever the research that is getting published, I'm not sure whether you have access to Gartner, but we as Gartner customers, we have access to it. So at any point in time, you would like to know about a specific domain or specific market or specific technology, maybe you request in the group or reach out to Dr. Saib if or myself, then we will provide you with that, because there is a lot that is available, and we will not be able to publish everything or bring everything, but on need basis we will be able to guide. And I think this group is there to guide, to enable and empower the next generation.
Thank you. Jazakallah.
Welcome.
Jazakumullah khair, Dr. Imad Syed. So from the audience, do we have any other questions? Assalamu alaikum. My question is, hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
My question is this three terminologies: data science, data engineering, and data analytics. So these three are same, or some or different fields, or different concept, or these three sharing some contents between these three.
See, data science is the ocean, because even if you are talking about machine learning, it's part of data science. If you're talking about data analysis, it is part of data science. So data science is the superset for all of it. However, I will tell you something, that we are developing a tool wherein we are going to include every terminology of data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and anything to do with data and analytics. We are going to do that, and the Wikipedia of that will be available free to everybody. However, the tools within that might not be available to everybody, but the Wikipedia. So when it is launched, I will share it with you. It has got thousands of definitions and use cases, because exactly like what you are asking, every time we talk about this, many people are confused with the terminology. What is the use case of it? So that's the reason we are building a tool, web tool, that you can subscribe to, as free. When it is launched, we will notify you. But again, it's, I won't be able to answer very quickly on that, but I gave you the high level of the stuff. Data science is the ocean because it's a field. A lot of things fall under data science, be it data engineering, be it data analysis, be it a lot of other stuff.
So, Jazakallah, and who can easily migrate into this field? Database administrator or developer?
Both of them have got equal opportunities. Database administrators, because if they can learn the cloud models, cloud infrastructure, how to manage it, and they get some certifications on be it AWS or Azure, that's the quickest path. And then the data programmers, obviously, there are a lot of programs. Even Java also supports data science. Python, R, all these things also support data science heavily. So only thing is that the platform that was used for programming need to be changed.
Okay, thank you, Jazakallah.
Welcome. Okay, then thank you very much.
Any last question? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Jazakumullah khair, Dr. Imad.